Is fun. Hey guys, how are you? What's up, Julio? What's going on? We're going to get started here in just a moment, everybody. Make sure to share this out with your friends and family. Happy 2021. Make sure that you are tuning in, have your headphones on, you have a notepad ready, because we are starting this year off right. Can you hear the music?
No.
Well, there's a countdown going.
Okay, I see it, but I don't hear the
You
music.
see it though, right?
I'll
All
go.
right,
Yeah, there you go.
I wish everyone could hear the music. It's jamming though. It's pumping. You know, Facebook and music, they're not friends of mine.
Oh yeah, of course. they can't detect someone else's music in your video.
No, they can't.
They'll say, "Oh, you can't put this here. What are you doing?"
BS.
What are you doing?
Right?
It's looking like a New Year's countdown all over again.
Yeah, right? I wish you guys can hear this. I'm so jamming to this countdown right now. So jamming to this countdown. I think I'm even screaming and everything about it. I would sing for you guys and my voice is all gone right now. And as you guys are coming on to this live, make sure to show some love. Make sure to put some questions in the chat that you would love to be answered. And I'm definitely screaming, but I'm having a great time. If you guys had an amazing 2021 ringing in, let us know in the chat. I'm going to tag you here in Fort Lauderdale with me. Or Hollywood Beach, close enough. You guys, we have less than 60 seconds. We're going to get started here in the next 60 seconds. We are going to kick off this Fired Up Friday in a huge way. You guys do not want to miss this. We're going to have a 30 to 40 minutes of some amazing content coming up. So please make sure to tag anyone below that you think will benefit from this amazing conversation I'm about to have here with 8-figure trader Jeffrey Rojas. I sound like a radio person.
Yes. It's the intro part. It's the intro part.
I wish you guys can hear this. It's because I have my headphones on. I'm like jamming by myself here. It just sounds better from the headphones. Okay. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thank you first and foremost for tuning in here with us. It's Fired Up Friday. I'm so happy to be here. So blessed to be still breathing, still celebrating, still creating. All right. I see you, Jeffrey, on the other end, and you seem like you're frozen. I'm going to go ahead and let you go here first. Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and put you right back in. Let me know if that's going to work, right? So in the meantime, while we're getting on, I want you guys to know that our next guest or this guest for 2021 that I'm kicking off is an 8-figure Forex trader. He's also a crypto enthusiast and investor, and he loves the real estate market. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But more on the side that's my favorite is that he's also a father and a family man. And so we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a moment as he comes right back on with us. There you go. Wonderful.
There I am.
Awesome. There he is. Everyone, please give a round of applause and a Fired Up Friday welcome to Mr. Jeffrey Rojas, aka Mr. Unemployable.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? What is going on? I mean, it's an honor to be here on this first Friday of 2021. As a matter of fact, you know what's crazy, Veronica? I just realized this.
What?
2021 started on a Friday. So people won't really start 2021 till Monday.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be a little...
you'd be really
The- the-
surprised. Yeah, but you'd be really, really surprised on people, especially like myself. Like, I didn't actually create my list for 2021. I've been planning 2021 for the entire Q4, like literally. Like, instead of
Yeah.
how people say, "Oh, I'll write down my goals at the last week or whatever," knowing that there's holidays and all these kinds of things. No, I knew that. I know that my holidays get crazy. I spend time with family. I spend time with creating a business plan for my business, for my team and my partners and all this kind of stuff. So there's really no time to be able to do that during the holidays. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I know
I
even
strongly agree.
your little boy that actually slept through New Year's, but that's fine.
He did. I mean, I told him when he woke up, I'm like, dude, you slept an entire year. Like, you were 2020, woke up 2021.
I
I'm like,
love
there was
it.
to the point that I wanted to wake you up, but I'm like, nah, he was tired. Let me tell you guys something. Shout out for all the new dads, new moms, right? Coming up. I'm gonna tell you something. For many, many years, people would tell me, oh, wait till you have children, right? But they said it like in a
Mm,
negative way. Like, oh,
yeah.
you think, oh, wait till you have children. And I waited, and it happened. Uh, it happened. But in reality, let me tell you something. It's a huge blessing, right?
Yeah.
It's unlike, I mean, any parent will tell you that it's like a love you never ever experienced. It has its ups and downs. There's times you want to, like, do one of those to yourself, or like go to sleep, and but it's rewarding. It's extremely, extremely rewarding, and to the point that it overpowers all the negative. So I love it. It's amazing. So if you're planning something on 2021, let me tell
If
you,
that's gonna be
wait till
it.
you become a parent. Wait till you become a parent. It's
You know,
fun.
I'm actually really glad that you mentioned that, only because for us parents, we're always so scared of it, right? For those of you who aren't parents, you probably are like super scared of becoming a responsible for another soul, for another being in this world. And yes, it is a grand responsibility, but with grand responsibility does come an amazing personal growth. Personal growth. And we're going to talk a little bit about personal growth. We're going to talk about all these different aspects of our whys, and focused on that, and why, for me, starting 2021, focusing on your whys is so important, right? We decide sometimes, oh, it's a new year, we're going to get drunk, and all, guys, it's so much more than that. And I know, especially me getting older, I've done all the partying. I was actually telling Cassie yesterday, I was like, I've done all that. Been there, done that. Love it. It's part of my past. It was part of my growth, moments, and my learning experiences, and the learning curve in general, how to deal with people. But it's one of those things that if I do it, it's going to be once in a blue. If
Mhm.
that, at this point, I'm more focused on travel and my family, and business growth and learning, and exploring and things of that nature. So yeah, it definitely does take you for a ride, but it's such a blessing in disguise. I grew as a woman personally for that, right? So again, thank you again for being here. And thank you guys also for tuning in, for those of you who are on here, because what you're doing at this point is you're making time for you. You're making time to be able to listen to something that you know is going to catapult your year in some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, you'd be somewhere else. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for supporting me all of 2020. Most of you guys have been there since the beginning, since I launched a Superhuman Movement, Fired Up Friday, from I think it was like July. I don't even remember. I think it was June or July. I don't even remember my start date was, right? But the reason I do this, and I told I was telling Jeffrey about this. I do this for you guys. I don't get paid to do this. I do this from the kindness of my heart because I want to be able to pay it forward. I want to be able to share the wealth of knowledge that I have obtained, and also through others who've done the same, where they've gone to broke to billionaire. You know what I mean? In some way, shape, or form. So taking a step back, Jeffrey, I would like for you to start with who you are at this time, and then we're gonna kind of step back a little bit from there. But who do you think you are at this present moment, as an individual, as a father, as a businessman?
So that's a very interesting question. And it's funny about that. I was actually thinking about that yesterday. So let me just step back a little bit more. Yesterday was the end of 2020, right? And it was the end of what could have been the best year of your life or the worst year of your life. All right, depending on how you looked at it. No matter what the outcomes out there were saying, is based on how you write the book. All right, you write the book. That you don't give them the pencil. All right, you write the book. Okay, but before that, I had the leaders in my team have a moment, take quick a minute to 90 seconds and send a video to the team. Okay. It's about 10 of 10 leaders, including myself. And I said, just send the video, send the video to the team. Let them know that you're proud of them. Let them know, that you're here for them. Let them know, thank you for, you could have chosen to be anywhere.
Anywhere,
all right.
Right.
You're going to be in any company, any team, but you chose to work with us. Thank you. We're here for you. We're a family. Right. Mm-hmm. And so my answer to that is this. Every person that I come across that I end up working with as a leader or side by side, where we are at that point is because we're simply servants. All right.
Yeah.
Where I am right now is I'm a servant. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I am a servant. I'm here to serve you guys, or I'm here to help you, your family, whoever that needs this information or can benefit from it. That's what I'm here for. Okay. I am simply a vessel with information that you need. Okay. And when you get that, you become that vessel to give that information to somebody else that needs it. All right. So at the point of my life where I am at right now, I'll be honest with you. I'm at the point in my life right now where I'm not really that focused on making more money. Right. I'm just focused on helping you guys make your money. All right. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to have that freedom and that ability to say, you know what? I can take control of my life. Why? Because I was served by someone who that was their purpose and they served their purpose. Mm. So at the end of the day, what I want to do is when your clock stops ticking, I want to know that myself and you come to an end and say, you know what, that purpose that we had was delivered, mission accomplished, we're good.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at in my life right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because a lot of people don't credit the ones that have helped them get here. Guys, in order for you to get to where you are, in some way, shape, or form, someone has actually handed you or had their hand open for you to lift you up and to bring you up and to share something with you that will change your life in one way, shape, or form. Right? Whether it was a lesson or it was a growing moment or it was a piece of knowledge that opened up the doors for you in a plethora of ways, right? For you, I know that a lot of what you've gained, and this is why you're so passionate about it, is cryptocurrency, right? You talk a lot about it, you educate a lot about it, and you have such a giving heart. Guys, I want to actually credit him on this. We were on a Clubhouse convo. If you guys don't know about Clubhouse, I'm going to be definitely doing some calls there as well. But Clubhouse is a platform where it's completely audio. You can share information. You can connect with people from all over the world, help someone, right? Pay it forward. And he decided that he was going to gift this individual said this was his Christmas, in his Christmas list was a ledger, something that actually holds crypto. I'll let him explain more about that. But he gifted that to somebody. He heard him and he said, just go ahead and contact me and I'll go ahead and send it to you. No worries. Merry Christmas. Right. He didn't have to do that. Okay. And I'm sure that there's so much more that he does beyond that. But just to see that servant leadership in general, or that servitude in general, see that displayed on an ongoing basis, like I'm always so very honored to meet people like that, and I know the individual you gave that to. I met him at an event here in South Florida. He was there. Yeah. And I didn't realize who it was. I mean, put two and two together. I was like, wait, who is this guy? And I know that I was sitting next to him and he was so hungry. He was listening to everything that Kyle from the Run Guys was talking about and anything that I shared and anything I talked about, because I was talking about charts and I was talking about marketing and all these different things. He was hungry. The kid was listening, right? So it couldn't have gone to a more deserving person. And I'm sure he's still super grateful for it. My ledger's sitting right there and I would wave it. And
yeah.
Mine's sitting right there because I was getting it set up. But what calls to you to do this? Like, I know we were talking about this because money isn't everything, right? It comes to the point where you want to be a servant leader. But what really calls to you when you do that? Like, what goes through your mind and your heart when you think about giving back?
So one of the big reasons I love to give back or even take time to answer calls, answer questions, and to bring it back to, his name is Matt. I bring it back to Matt, the one that got the ledger. I actually met him for the first time as well.
I knew it was an M, but I didn't want to say it.
Close. So I actually met him again for the first time in Fort Lauderdale. The DX team had an amazing event down there and they invited me and says, can you come down and talk? I went, I spoke, they went a way ahead, they made a flyer with my face on it. I'm like, okay, like that's all, like, thank you for the hospitality. So this individual flew all the way from New Jersey. And he's always heard my voice. He's watched me do the classes and he literally, it was Caesar was telling me the story. He was like, he was kind of like shy to talk to you. So I told him, go talk to him, go talk to him. So then he went and we spent hours talking, like I gave him information. We had a good conversation, but at the end when we were talking, he told me like, what's crazy, man? I've met like NFL players, like I was in the army, that make multiple money. And it's crazy because I never actually sat down with somebody that makes 8 figures and takes the time to talk to me or even answer my questions. And he goes like, it's crazy that you do that. And I'm like, let me tell you why I always remain the way I am, right? I have a saying that I love to say, let money make a difference, but not make you different.
Absolutely.
All right. But I take it a step further is don't, I want to say it again. Don't let money make you different. Let money make a difference, right? But it's not a difference in your life because it's going to happen automatically. It's a difference in other people's lives, right? With great power comes great responsibility, all right? Yep. And the bigger you get, the more responsibilities you have by default. Whether you want them or not, they fall on your lap, okay? So he told me that, and I said, listen, the reason why is because I know what it feels like to be eager, hunger, and ask questions and get zero answers from people. Wow. They were too up here, and they don't want to talk to you, right? And I'll say this, Brandon, you know me, I'm blunt, right? I'll say this up front. When I used to be my previous company, I wanted to do this. Yep. I had the skill set. I didn't have the money back then. I wasn't applying it yet, but I had the skill set to talk to people and plant seeds, right? But they didn't give me that platform, okay? Because I wasn't at their level. But now that I'm here, I get calls almost every single day from individuals that turned me down and they didn't believe in me, telling me, oh, come work with me, come hang out with me, let's go have dinner. I'm okay, thank you, I can buy my own dinner. I'd rather go help somebody else because, okay, you didn't help me, no problem. I'm here now. Let's see who else needs to be helped. So when I told him that really stuck with him. He tells me that every time I talk to him. But I do that with anybody because I personally know what it's like to want to eagerly connect with someone. Okay, I want to. One of the things they tell you is find a mentor, but they don't tell you how. All right. So you assume that if you just go hit that person on Instagram up, they're gonna reply to you. Most likely you go straight into the archives. I go through my archives, guys. All right. I let my archives get to 100 and I take my girlfriend will tell you, I take an hour, 2 hours, and I just go through every single message and I reply. And it's not a copy and paste message. It's a personalized message to what you wrote. So because I know what it's like to be that person. And because of me doing that, I have seen people be successful, take tips, take notes, and take action, most importantly, to being where they are today. So that's why I do it. I'm the person that I rather see you be successful than me be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do have a question with that because I know so many of us have gone through the ups and downs. We've had the struggles. And for me, that's what builds character. And that's what builds the foundation of gratitude, attitude of gratitude always, right? But what were your beginnings like? Right? Because I know you're also from New York, like myself, right? And so being from New York, the hustle mentality is like built in. Is that just me? The hustle mentality is built in because I think our environment breeds that, right? So what was your beginning like, and what do you credit your beginning to how you are now?
So my beginning was I don't like to sit here, and I'm gonna tell you guys up front. I don't like when people say I came from nothing. Because you discredit your parents' work.
Yeah.
Even though it became nothing, your parents busted their behind to get you somewhere. So you can't say that you came from something. You came from something. It's just not where you thought it was gonna be. Yep. All right. So my mother was a single parent. Okay, and my mother had the entrepreneurial mentality always. She hasn't had a boss in I don't know how many years.
Wow.
For a long time. She's an esthetician. She has her own spa in Hicksville, Long Island. She's always had that drive. She doesn't want to work for somebody. And every single, I grew up in a family around females. I was the only individual to the point that even the dog was female.
No,
okay, I was the only male in the house. My father wasn't in the picture till later on in my life. But it helped me. I don't know. I guess I have very strong females around me. Okay. And it developed me to who I am today. And seeing them do what they do, like they're all entrepreneurs. They all have their own little thing going on. Okay. Wow. Because of them, I was able to purchase a medical grade cleaning franchise. I was able to own a carpet cleaning company. I was able to hustle, like I said, New Yorkers, right? I said this in Houston, and it drove the entire room crazy when I literally said that I used to sell free magazines. And everybody goes, "What? Yeah, you know what I
How do
used to
you
do?
tell?
If you're from New York, you know this, right? Every corner in Jacksonville or like in Northern Boulevard, they have these little magazine stands. So I would take them, I would empty out the stands and put them in a book bag, and I would wait for events in Flushing Meadow Park, Central Park, parades, and I would pay my cousin 50 cents per magazine that he would sell,
Oh
and we
my
would go hit up the streets, and people are bored waiting for hours for things to start, and I will sell them for $1 to 150. Negotiate my way down from two, and I was 14, 15, making $150 a day by simply doing this on a weekend.
Wow.
And it brought the hustler, the mentality in me, and also the biggest motivator for me was the fact that I didn't really like working for anybody, right? I didn't really like people telling me when to go to lunch, when I gotta come in, when I gotta go out. If I have to leave at 8, why am I still here at 9? Like I have a family, but it stems from just everything that I saw from my family, right? As well as the entrepreneur mentality. And let me tell you something about the entrepreneur mentality. You're not born with it.
Yeah.
You really aren't. Okay. It's nurtured into you. Okay. Because also the 9 to 5 is not, you're not born with that either. It's whatever gets nurtured into you. You are a blank slate.
Yeah.
And things get put inside you. And sometimes it's your job to identify this is wrong. This is not me. All right. I self-assessment. And based on where you come from, your story, right? I'll get a little bit into my story. I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years. All right. That's when I started doing the magazine thing. Okay. I used to own carpet cleaning franchises, medical grade cleaning. We used to clean hospitals. All right. We used to have a contract to clean a toy factory. And it wasn't like I hired a staff to do it. I would go do it. Okay. I would go do it. I used to go to college, be a full-time lifeguard, and go clean the offices after they close, because they just close at 5 or 6 o'clock. So I used to do all of that. Okay. So I did that for a few years. Then 2014, if you guys ever heard of Murphy's Law, I lived Murphy's Law in 2014. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, and at the worst possible time. It was like being down and getting kicked while you're trying to get up. All right. I went homeless. I used to live in my car. I used to share a bed with my cousin for a full year, not even a whole room, just half a bed. I used to work at Home Depot. 2014, 6 years ago.
The same year that I was homeless. Oh my God, 2014 must have been something else.
It was crazy. I got into I got promoted in my lifeguard job to be a full-time supervisor, and I used to manage all the LA Fitness in Nassau County. So New Hyde Park, I used to do that. Lake Success, that's the same one. Levittown, I used to do all of those, right? And the gym was 24 hours. So I need to find somebody to work the graveyard shift, and I couldn't. So then I would have to work it. As a manager, you take that responsibility. Yeah. One day, I worked from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and I had class at 8 in the morning. And I'm driving back home. I lived in Flushing at the time, which is about half an hour. And then my school was from Flushing all the way back into deep Long Island. As I'm driving to school, I didn't get a chance to sleep. I fall asleep behind the wheel and I crash. And I hit this BMW. Wow. I was so scared because I hit a BMW. My car was a little Mazda and I hit a BMW. I was like, oh, here we go. I'm getting sued. I'm like, I should just file for bankruptcy right now. I'm going to get sued. By the grace of God, this car was intact. When I tell you, like, not even a scratch on the bumper. She came out, saw the bumper, looked at my car and says, we're good. My bumper was on the floor. Her car was completely fine. And she said, I just got this car last week. It was an X5. So I'm like, go ahead. Good. Take my license if something happens, but thank God nothing happened. Wow. I lost, and then after that, I lost my car when my job was 45 minutes away. Okay, so seeing those struggles, right, was what kept me going. I used to scrape pennies on the bottom of my car to buy a coffee in the morning. All right, guys. So what I'm telling you guys is this: everyone has a story. It's either you play the victim card or you play the victor card. Yep. All right. Do you overcome or do you stay behind and keep complaining about why you're there? Okay. So that's pretty much what did it for me. I mean, and there's plenty more. In case you guys, I got arrested in 2016. I served probation for 3 years. I was dying to leave New York, and I was this close. Then I got
Wow.
arrested. Then I got probation. So I couldn't leave for another 3 years because financial stress drove me to that. All right. So my mindset still needed some tweaking, even though I was doing what an entrepreneur does, which brings me to my next point. Entrepreneurship is not easy,
Yep.
but it's a lot better than the normal life that they tell you.
The 40-40-40 plan, right?
The 40, I don't even know what, if it's probably like 60, 60, 60, like
At
it's
this
like
point, right?
unlimited. It should just say till you die, till you die, till you
Till
die.
you die. Exactly.
That's what it should say right now.
It's such a shame, especially here in South Florida. And thank you so much for sharing that, because I think so many of us, again, the struggle does build character. It doesn't mean that we have nothing. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I don't come from terrible beginnings. I actually had, two parents. My father paid for private school for us, or Catholic school in New York. And thank God he did that. It wasn't that we struggled in that way, but as you start approaching your older years, you start to realize you have to make something of yourself. Your parents can only help you for so long. And if you are going to succeed, you have to learn to do what they do at a younger age. That's why sometimes I see kids now, and the broad spectrum, right? So one of them is like everything's paid for. They go to school and they do nothing else. The other side, the same kid who has that kind of support is like building a YouTube community and working literally from home and building products and selling them and learning how to do that because they have their parents' support. And then on the other hand, you have a similar child, right? Has nothing, stays with nothing. Another
Yep.
one says, I got nothing, but I want to help my mom. I want to help my dad. I want to help my family. I have no parents, whatever the case may be. I live with my grandma, and she's been taking care of me my entire life. And now I want to be able to repay her back. And I'm old enough to work. But now I figure out that I can do something there's so many stories that you hear. And so again, the latter of that is the ones that actually take initiative, regardless of their circumstance, regardless of what they have, whether they have or they have not, it doesn't matter. Right. It's something that's built into you, or it's something that fires you up from a very young age. Like I knew when I was very young, I wasn't meant to work for anybody else. As stubborn and as strong-willed as I am, I was like, no, you're not going to tell me what time I can eat. I'm hungry now. You're not going to tell me what time I can sleep. I want to do that now. Right. Just so that I think that you're frozen on that. I'm going to let you go here. And as we're doing that, he's going to take a 2-minute break there so he can come back on. Guys, let us know in the comments about your story. What's one thing that you felt that essentially was your defining factor, the defining moment in your childhood or in your younger years that pushed you to the limit, where it brought you to the awareness where you're like, I got to get this done. Right? I got to get this done now or never. And I'm not going to go ahead and quit. And I'm going to do everything that I can to ensure that I am doing my best to support my family, to support my growth, or whatever I have coming, so that I can go ahead and serve others. Right? And remember, we both know it's a circle, right? It's an infinity symbol. This is how I see it. Right? Energy is neither created nor destroyed. Right? We know that energy is neither created nor destroyed. So any of our efforts will pay it forward. It'll become our legacy, right? That way our children can go ahead and do the same exact thing, right? And now as a father, right? What is give me three things that you would tell your son as he starts to approach the older years, where he's more, adept to kind of learning and understanding things and be able to take things under his own wing and apply the same way you did. What's 3 things you can tell him now as a father with that same knowledge? What would you offer him?
Well, right off the bat, I'll tell him, go buy Bitcoin. Number one. Number one.
For him, though.
Just sit. I'm buying it for you, but you buy it for yourself. We grow faster. No, but as a father, you think you know your why until you have a kid. I'll tell you that right now. Your why just gets bigger. But if I could tell him 3 things, is this: number one is always pay it forward. All right. Especially for him, he's fortunate enough to come from me, from a good life, because I'll be honest with you, not a lot of kids have hardworking parents. Not a lot of kids have parents that push them toward their goals. They actually want them to go to school and become this profession.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be happy until you become this.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys know feel that pain. I was like that. My mom wanted me to go to college for 4 years, and I said no. I'll go for 2. I'll give you 2. You could take that, but I didn't want to go for 4. All
Yeah.
right. But if I could tell them again, pay it forward. Help somebody that you don't know needs your help. Okay. It's what's it say? What's that saying go? It's always it's more important. No, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Okay,
Yes.
I'll tell him that too, because at the end of the day, your attitude for me is everything. I
Mhm.
can meet someone and just the way you talk, I could be like, okay, you're someone that you're self-centered or you're not for the people, right? I guess my circle are just people that are for the people,
Yeah.
right? If your energy doesn't vibe with me and tells me, hey, I want to help people, then I don't think you could work together. Because at the end of the day, that's my purpose. That's the bigger goal here. Okay, so I will tell him that. Make sure that you are always nice to individuals, pay it forward, all right? And number 3 is what can number 3 be? Do what you love,
Mm.
right?
I,
If he grows up, right? Well, I mean, he will grow up. And if he's 15, 18 and says, Dad, I don't want to invest. I don't see myself investing. No problem. You don't have to invest. What do you want to do? I'll ask him, what makes you happy? All right. If pumping gas at Shell station makes you happy, do that the best of your ability, because that will open another door for you that you didn't even know you wanted it. I
Mhm.
always tell people this story, right? I hate teaching. Hated. I hated teaching, right? I always used to say, I can never teach people, right? People are just like, oh, I can't teach them. I don't have that patience. But you know what? You guys want to know what my main goal was? That what my drive was before all of this started? My main goal was to play in the NFL. That was my goal, right?
Mm.
I played in high school. I had private divisions. When I went to college, I played Division II. I used to play against Army, Navy, all of that stuff, right? And I got offered a scholarship to Miami U to play during my senior year, and I turned it down.
Mm.
I turned it down. One thing was my mom was a single parent, and I was all she knew. So I was not about to leave her in New York, number one, and she'll probably just go back to Colombia I'm Colombian, by the way, if I just went to school in Miami, number one. But number two, have you ever wanted something so bad, like you say, I want this, and then you get it, but then when you get it, you say, I thought I would feel differently.
Mm.
Right? That's what happened to me. So I turned it down. There's a saying that says, "Man plans and God laughs." That's exactly what happened to me, right? And then I kept persisting, and then injuries came. I dislocated my shoulder, messed up my collarbones, messed up my ankles, so I couldn't play anymore. I mean, I was retired before I was even able to get started, because the man above said, "I don't need you here. I need you here." Right? This is what the universe needs you for. All right, your gift is not this. You could play this. That's cool, but that's not what you're meant for. You're meant for this right here. Okay, so look at Inky Johnson. You guys ever heard of Inky Johnson? One of my most favorite motivational speakers of all time. Inky Johnson used to be a cornerback for I think it was the Tennessee, no, some team in Tennessee or the Texans or whatever, and he was really good. He was 3 games away from being drafted into the NFL. On that game, he hit somebody just like he does all the time. His left arm is paralyzed, collapses, and he can't play anymore, to the point that he almost died and had
Wow.
life-saving surgery right there in that day, because
Wow.
he had no pulse on his entire right arm. No pulse. Ends up that he messed up an artery. They fixed it, whatever, but he couldn't play anymore. But what happened? Where is Inky Johnson today? He is a multi-millionaire motivational speaker
Wow.
that goes to those football teams, right, where he was supposed to play, and motivates the teams to play better, and gets paid millions of dollars to do so.
Wow.
So
That's
that
wonderful.
that was his purpose.
So purpose. I like that. I like how you mentioned that. It's I think the 3 things that you touched on was invest, and you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency, be kind always, and do what you love. And I love those 3 points. As a parent, that resonates with me. Guys, if that resonates with you, go ahead and put a 777 down below, because I know that's my life path number. Everyone calls it a lucky number, but for me, it's a life path number, and we're talking purpose. So that's what resonates with me. We're going to do a
My
777.
life path number 2. I
Is it
love that
really?
number.
It's
Yeah,
hard
I
to get
love that
along.
number. I'm gonna tell you guys something really crazy before. I'm sorry to cut you off, but when I
Go
used
ahead.
when I was picked to play as a defensive. I was a middle linebacker. I was a defensive of my captain team in football. I asked for the number 7, and they wouldn't give it to me because that's a quarterback number. They give me 54, and I said I want 57. I want 7. They gave me 54. They couldn't give it to me.
Wow.
But it's fine. I supported number 7 every time he was up there throwing the ball.
You see, you're a good sport about it. You're a good sport about it. I'm the same way. I've had that happen on so many occasions. And it's funny you say that with when we fulfill our purpose, that it calls to us and it's something bigger and it might not make sense at first. And then when we start to go along with our journey, we're like, oh, okay, well, now I understand. And I had the similar experiences. I had so many opportunities to do something on a grand level when it came to music and artistry and other things. But just something kept telling me, but, this is great and all. Now that you're here, but is this really what you want? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't. I had to be honest with myself. I had someone tell me, what, are you crazy? Like, you can get a contract with Sony and all these different things. I was like, yeah, it's great. But 1, I'll be a slave to someone else. 2, I'll be making music not for me, but for the game, right? I would change my whole look. I would have to sing things that don't work with me or don't resonate with me, or that's not me, So essentially I'd be selling my soul for what? For fame? It wasn't for me. It was. A lot of people don't know that. I don't talk about this. So this is
an exclusive tonight.
Yes, total exclusive. There's a lot of parts. I'm going to eventually write a book, dude. Like, I'm going to write a book and people are going to be like, I never knew you went through that, because I've lived so many lives in just this short amount of time. I can only imagine the next 30, 40, 50 years of my life and what that's going to bring, but definitely writing a book about it. And hopefully you do as well, because you even mentioned this, all the things that happened, that laid the groundwork just to keep going. Right. And a lot of people don't think about this as a factor. The ability to show up every day and keep going is monumental, right? And it's priceless, because you don't think that because you get up every day, you're doing the same thing, or not the same thing, but you're showing up every day, even though it feels arduous, it's showing you something. It's building character, and it's also showing you that you can get through this and more, right? And more. You're always capable of more, right? I did a plunge recently. I climbed, a mountain. I'd never done that before. I pushed my body to limits that I've never have in my life, and my mindset and my emotions and all that. It's to the point that I literally came back and I felt unstoppable. The Supervedo in me, which I call myself Supervedo, it's my alter ego, hence the superhuman movement. But, I honored that. And I was like, damn, I can do anything I want. Have you guys ever had that experience? Let me know in the chat below. Have you guys ever had an experience that literally showed you how much more you were capable of and how small you were playing, right? Have you ever had a moment like that you felt like you were playing small and you're like, dude, I can do more. I can definitely do more.
Yeah, I think it was every moment up until 2018.
Wow.
Everything. I mean, and it comes to a point where you think you're doing good, but in reality, you are nowhere near your potential.
Yeah.
All right. You're nowhere near your potential. I believe that one of the reasons why people are so afraid to step into their greater self is because they are afraid of their greater self.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. They truly are. They say, okay, what kind of person would I be when I become famous and have all this money and become successful? Like, what if I lose myself? What if I pick up a habit that I don't like? You understand? So I believe people are truly afraid of how truly powerful they are. I have people tell me, hey, I want to make $1 million, but I'm afraid. I'm like, what are you're afraid of $1 million? Like, how can you be afraid of $1 million? Are you afraid of $100? So why would you be afraid of $100? Of $1 million? It's they're afraid of themselves, their true power, their true nature.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it's not always that people are afraid of failure. They think that they are, but they're so accustomed to failure that's actually their comfort zone. So what do? They start things knowing they're going to fail, or do things to sabotage their own growth and their own success. And this is something I had to become very, very honest with myself with, because I didn't realize that what I was truly afraid of, that I was playing small, was my own greatness. Because I can feel my greatness. That's that light within you, that fire within you, that's like screaming inside, that gets irritated at everything around you because you want more, but then you're doing less. And then you're constantly at odds with yourself, the person in the mirror. I did a a live yesterday with Blaze the Lion, John Goldsmith, a friend of mine, and I did an entire presentation, which I'm going to do exclusively here for you guys. More than likely next Fire Friday or a Wealth Wednesday. I haven't decided, but I know that I have to share this again because it was so powerful and impactful last night, and I know many of you weren't there for it. But one of the things that we don't understand, especially as adults and as individuals, that what you mentioned about being the victim or the victor.
Right.
The person in the mirror, your reflection, that's the person you're battling with. That's the person that you're looking to be better than the next day, and the next day, and the next day. It's not everybody else around you. We're unique. We have a unique expression in this world that we're here to live out, right? And that's what we call our soul purpose, our divine, divine destiny, or whatever you want to call it. Any word that you can put in there that makes sense, right? Your manifest destiny, whatever it is your path. It is your vision, and it's also what you're here to serve the world with. It could be anything. It could be anything, right? And that's the thing that keeps us going, right? And some of us are so scared of it that we do everything on the opposite end. We do drugs. We, give into our vices. We hide. We get stuck on like TV and zone out and do all that, because we're so scared of that amazing individual within us, because something has conditioned us to believe that we have to be less than, and we have to think mediocre, or we have to think below the standard. And I'm going to tell you guys right here, right now, especially stepping into 2021, that is not you. You are greater than. You are the light of the world. Each and every one of us are here for that purpose, for that expression. Right? We are here in God's image for a reason. There's a reason why that said that. That's like one of the only things I honor, by the way, in religion. I'm not I don't like, shouts to everybody. I was part of the church and everything growing up. The institution itself, not a fan. The writings, yes. Right. And so, and the message and the way that it brings people together, that I like. And that's what I resonate with. And that's what I stay with. So I'm a light being. As I call myself a light being. And shouts to the Light Beings community, by the way, because I know that they're tuning in and listening right now, right? But we are here as an expression. We are here just to serve our purpose, whatever that may be, and do it with joy, with satisfaction, with an open heart, right? With openness, I don't know how else to express that outside of what you said, and literally just make it a point to be kind and loving every single day of your life. It'll pay everything forward, even that same individual who's cussing you in the face, honestly. Yeah. And I had to learn this because we're from New York, right? Everything is like, nah, I come here and I start learning more about this, and I start to understand that even that person is struggling within, and all they're doing is expressing that misery within themselves. They don't know what else to do with. And so they have to feel like everybody else is at fault. That's the person that needs the most love, or can use the most love and the most understanding, because you could have been there, but you decided to choose otherwise, right? So choose love, pay that forward. I went on a rant.
No, and it's great. I love that you said that too. I love the rant. It's good. But it's so good that you brought that up, because you never know what people are going through. All right, you really never know. Okay. People may talk bad about you. All right. I saw this video a long time ago, and I always remember this video. This guy's in a cab, and the cab driver is very friendly, talking to the passenger, talking, and then a car out of nowhere cuts off the taxi driver, and then he gets out of the car and starts cursing at the taxi driver when it wasn't even his fault. And he's just there, like, smiling and waving back at him. Aww. And the passenger in the back goes like, yo, like, how are you gonna let him talk to you like that? It's okay. And he goes like, let me tell you something. People are like garbage trucks. They walk around carrying garbage all day. And they get to a point that they get so full that they have to dump it. And sometimes it lands on you. You can't take it personally. You just gotta keep smiling and waving, because sometimes, you ever heard the expression, just smile at somebody and see what they do? I do that all the time. Right? Sometimes I'll be the person. I love smiling. I love talking to people. Like there's no reason for me to be angry. All right. I'm always a joyful person. So I could go to a coffee shop, right, and they look miserable, and I'm talking to them, and I just smile at them. I'll ask them about their day, and the way that encounter could have gone was completely changed, because I didn't feed off their energy. right? I brought my positivity into a negative environment. All right. Lights will always light up a dark room, not the opposite way around.
Absolutely.
Okay. Light will always prevail darkness. So your positivity is the light, the negativity is the darkness. You have the power to light their switch up as well.
Yeah. One kind that can go a million miles. Like, guys,
Of course.
don't ever assume that your small act, because no one's watching now that we're in this age of tech where everything has to be shared and videoed and shared. If it wasn't shared, it didn't happen, kind of thing. No, there's kind acts going on all around the world. And sometimes the news, even if we watch, public news or whatever the case is, they show a lot of the negativity that's going on in the world, or the things that are low vibration, so to speak, rather than all the positivity and the high vibration things that happen in the world. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And that's a beautiful story too. Like he just sat there. It's funny. My dad said a story the same way. There was a friend of his who doesn't speak Spanish, and he went to a Spanish club. And the guy, the lady just cursed him out for no reason. And he's here he is like, thank you. And you can,
Thank you.
it's visible that she's being mean to him, but he was just like, thank you. That's how you receive things, guys. Just receive them that way. Because at the same time, it may not be what you are you wanting, right? But understand that if they interacted with you, you can offer them something much better. And much more loving and much more kind than they've ever had. They've probably been that same bartender probably was always hit on, and mind you, coming from a bartender standpoint, hit on, said really cruel things, and especially if she didn't do what they wanted me to do, shouted at, barked orders at, so she was probably having a terrible day, right? And maybe that could have changed her day. We never know, but we're not here to wait and see what we're going to get back. We're here to give. Because we've been given so much. We've been given a life. We've been given the opportunity to be here. We got our 2 legs, 2 arms, a voice, right? We have the ability to do so much more. And I'm glad we went there. I don't want to take too much time on this end, because I did want to talk a lot about financial freedom. So let's flip the script a little bit. So this is what we're here to do. I hope you guys are excited. Put some fire emojis down below. We gave you guys some mental stimulation and some mindset training and some heart opening and heart expansive talk. But now we're going to have to dump all the good things in there, and we're going to talk financial freedom. So, Mr. Unemployable, why do they call you Mr. Unemployable? Talk to him.
So it's not, I'm going to tell you guys something. It's not because I don't work or I wasn't unemployed. People always think I was on unemployment all the time, but it wasn't really that. The Mr. People, they're like, were you on unemployment the whole time and like you just became successful? Like, no. So the story is this, right? Because of the way I am as an entrepreneur, as an individual, I've always had an issue with employee mindset. Okay, I never had a problem with employment. Employment is required, right? You need employment. Someone has to do what you can't do. All right. It's the flow of the market, right? What you can't do, someone else can do it, and you pay for that service, and you create an economy. It needs to be. But what's not on the job description is that you need to have a employee mentality. You pick that up on your own, and you're never supposed to pick that up. Well, an employee mentality is this. All right. The reason why I'm called Mr. Unemployable is because I could go work at anywhere right now. All right. One of my dream jobs, right, is to work at Disney World. I always wanted to work at Disney World. All right. And I live right here. I could go work at Disney World, but I can go get this job and still do what I do today to near perfection on both fields without me sitting here saying I belong to Disney World. Okay. You don't belong to Disney. You don't belong to your job.
Right.
And your job does not belong to you. You are simply a chess piece. Okay. Now you get taken care of. You get health care, right? You get a salary. You get a lunch break. Okay. But sometimes it goes a step further because now you start to take this as a bribe to forget about your own dreams, your own goals, and you make your life for 40 years about that one company that, as a lot of you guys saw in 2020, they couldn't sustain themselves anymore and they had to make cuts. And who was the first person they let go? You. No matter how many years you were there, how loyal you were, they need to make cuts because at the end, it's for the benefit of the business, not you. Okay. So Mr. Unemployable should be called Mr. Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because that's the main goal here. It's to be free. I've always said this, and it's not about the money. Guys, the money is a tangible, useless object.
Yep.
Okay. It is just a vehicle to help somebody else and to grow your, I guess, your fortune, right? But it's not really a way to change someone's life. Because if that person isn't mentally ready and I give that person $1 million, I only put them in a worse position.
Mm.
Okay. It doesn't work that way. The mindset has to be properly adjusted to be able to deal with that kind of financial income.
Right.
What are you going to do with it?
Yep.
Okay. The average person that wins the lottery goes broke in 3 years.
Yep.
Why? Because their mindset wasn't ready for it. And they end up right back at a job after they were just a millionaires.
Yep.
So you have to be ready for that type of income. Okay. You have to be ready for what's to come. All right. It's not just going to come and be yours. All right. You need to understand that the whole purpose here is for you to be free.
Yep.
All right. Freedom is the number one thing you're chasing, because one of the things you hear people complain a lot throughout their entire career in a job is say, I work all these times. I don't spend time with my family. We don't go on vacation. I miss my kids' plays. My kids grow up without me. I don't kiss my kids good nights. I will never do that ever. Okay? That's freedom to me. That to me is worth than any amount of money you can make. You want to know why? Because once you're free, now you're free to make as much money as you can doing whatever you like.
Absolutely.
Not whatever you're told to do and where to show up.
Absolutely.
So that's the true meaning behind Mr. Unemployable. It's just letting you know that you're free. Okay. I had one of the calls I did last week. As a matter of fact, I did it, last week. Kind of opened people's eyes a lot, because I said, you think you're free, but you're really not free. Like, God bless our troops. They go to war for you for your freedom, but are you really free? Like, they do their job to make you free, but you're not taking full advantage of what they're doing out there. All right. You say, okay, I got my freedom. Here you go, boss. You can have it. It's yours. Mm-hmm. Tell me what to do with it.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because what James just mentioned, in the quote unquote new economy, you can simply shut down on the whim because of the media and the governments. We all know that, right? And we're not at the whim of it, just so that you guys understand, but just in the scope of this story, right? The story is that if they shut down, then we shut down too, right? And that's normal. That's actually going to be common for so many people who have regular jobs. If you don't have a second, third, or fourth source of income that's going to sustain, you will be in that position where you are at the whim at this point, because you did not set yourself up. And 100%, you must find a way to generate income in addition to whatever job you have, right? And thank you for that, James. Now, I wanted to talk about this specifically because of what we both do. We're both in the Forex industry. Mr. Unemployable, aka Jeffrey Rojas, has been doing it far longer than I have. I've only been doing it for the last few years, not really successfully until like the last 12 to about 18 months. And honestly, even before that, I studied finance and I learned about that. And I was introduced to it through life insurance, annuities, stocks, and things of that nature. Then I found Forex. So I had already had an idea of what that meant. I understand the rule of 72. And I was talking about that yesterday on compounding. And, seven wonders of the world, Einstein, is compounding, right? And so talk a little bit about that when it comes to two things. One, because I know that you talk about cryptocurrency, and we can do an entire sector, an entire whole hour and a half on cryptocurrency alone, right? Mm-hmm. But let's talk more broader right now, and then we'll specify in just a moment. But what are 2 or 3 sectors or things that anyone can do to secure their income? 1, and 2, make it as passive as possible at this point, so that we don't have to work so hard just to be able to make a buck, or have it work for us.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. One of the things that you're gonna learn in what I call entrepreneurship school is to have money work for you. The quicker you figure out how to employ your Benjamins and your Franklins and your Washingtons, the quicker you become free. Mm-hmm. All right. What does that mean? That means that you send out $1 somewhere, and that dollar comes back with more friends. Okay. Whether it's a penny, 5 cents, $10. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you were able to make that money work for you without you having to work any harder than what you already are. All
Absolutely.
right, because I'm gonna tell you something. All right, and this might wake a lot of people up.
It
Okay,
might scare
but
some.
I gotta bring it out. Okay, if people, you know how they say you want to be rich, work hard. Let me tell you something. People at McDonald's work hard.
Mhm.
People at stadiums work hard. The cops, the doctors, the lawyers, they all work hard. So if that's really true, they would all be millionaires.
Mhm.
Okay, but it's not about working hard. It's about working smart. You have to work extremely, extremely smart. You have to figure out a way to leverage yourself, right? So if I can give you pointers as to how to get, oh, how to even start. If you're brand new, like if you're here sitting, how can I get started, right? This isn't for me. This is only for a chosen few where they choose, where the light shines on them only, not me. But if you're that person, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is for you. All right. It's just that you don't know where to start. You don't know how to start. You don't know where to look. Okay. So in the future that we're entering right now, we're entering into we've been in a digital age for a couple of years, but we're entering into a fully digital currency wave. All right. What that means is this. Even the banks know this. If you go to a bank and deposit $100,000, okay,
Mm.
the bank goes into their computer and types in deposit $100,000. They could literally burn that money right after you leave, and you're
Wow.
still worth $100,000 because it's on their computer. All right.
Wow.
Because if it was really based on what you have, the minute you deposit that money, they go and put it in a safe with your name on it. But they don't put it in a safe. They put it into a system. And now the system knows that you have $100,000. This is where fractional banking came into place. The fact that you can go deposit money and the bank can play with your money and make more money with your money by loaning it out. But
Mhm.
what people don't know is that they don't just loan it out. That money is leveraged in the Forex market to be traded. Okay. A lot of people don't know why when you go to an ATM after 8 p.m., the ATM will tell you this money is not available till tomorrow after business day. Right?
Wow.
Because after 8 p.m., the bank closes what they call the depository window. All right. So any money coming in for that day, guess what? Gets allocated. Loaning, payments, financial officers, boom, Forex funding. Send
Yep.
this money to the Forex traders. Tell them to make me a couple of million and billions by next opening day.
I'm
That's
glad
what
that
they
you
do with your money. That's
mentioned
what
that.
they do with your money. So why aren't you doing that with your money? Okay, simple. Right off the bat, you need to go invest in cryptocurrency. All right. I know that the average individual and the average entrepreneur tells you that real estate is the number one game to become a millionaire. You could become a millionaire that way, but it's a lot harder. All right. And it's not what's trending. All right. You need to do what's trending. If it's trending, get on it. It's going to be a lot easier to become successful than trying. Think about this. Is it easier to become richer in 1980 or right now when it comes to Apple?
Mhm.
1980, because that's when it was trending. That's when Steve Jobs was at the peak of the beginning. That's when he was still alive. Right now, it takes a little bit of ups and downs. You got to have a lot of equity to be able to make that much money. So you got to be able to catch trends. And the point is to have money by the time the next trend shows up. All right. This trend, you guys have seen it. The entire US government is coming after cryptocurrency.
Wow.
Why? Because it's trending. People are talking about it. Uncle Sam doesn't want you to get rich without him getting his share of the cut,
Mhm.
right? He was too busy taxing paychecks and he forgot about Bitcoin. So now that Bitcoin is nearly $30,000 per one coin, he says, whoa, hold up. I need my share. All right. I need my share. When we have been investing in Bitcoin since it was at $2,000.
Or even before
All right.
that.
Even before
I
that.
had my first Bitcoin. I bought it at I think $404.
Wow.
I
I
knew about
wish.
it then. I knew
That's
about it then.
amazing.
And it's funny because then I had something go down because I was unaware of what was happening. I cashed out. I think I doubled it, went to like 800, and I was like, awesome. I had like several coins, Jeff.
Several
Listen,
coins.
I had several coins. I would have had an easy 60K
Oh.
plus. I would have taken back whatever 600, whatever I had put into it initially, 600. I think it's $700 because it was between I think 280 and 404. It happened within like a 2-month span. So I bought one like half a coin. I was like, oh, I can drop 130 on this, no big deal, 140 or something like that. So let me tell you, it hurt. So when I saw this, and I listen. And I want you guys to pay attention. I'm getting closer to my mic on purpose. When someone tells you to buy Bitcoin, wait for the pullback. Okay, this is what Forex teaches you. Wait for the pullback and buy then. Pulls back, buy again. Pulls back, buy again. All right. Then take back. I always tell people if you're so afraid of what you invested in it, take back your little investment, let it keep growing. Right. But there's other ways to make that. I know now Bitcoin is like breaking the 30,000 dollars a coin mark very, very soon here. I don't know if it already did today because I haven't checked the markets. But I'm sure I would have seen it all over social media.
No, not yet.
It's at 29
all
right now?
day today. The highest we went was 29,006 and change. Right now we're at 29,200. That's where we are right now.
Pulling back.
I was really hoping we were gonna get there. Like, hey,
Yeah,
Happy New Year! Boom, 30,000.
Hey, but you know what? That's like you reach for the stars, you end in the clouds. What's that whole saying? You're still very high up.
You aim for the moon, you land among the stars. Yeah. Exactly.
I was what? Siri's talking to me. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. But yeah, and talk a little bit. Tell people why it's such an important asset outside of that. Because I mean, he's guys. Tell me this right now. What do you guys think is going to happen in the next 12 months with Bitcoin? For those of you who are crypto enthusiasts, and remember, there's altcoins, and that's something else that we can.
I gotta see this.
Right? What do you guys think? Okay, go ahead and chime in. You guys know I share the comments here right on the screen. Tell me what you think is going to happen in the next 12 months to Bitcoin and those altcoins that follow. Talk a little bit about that because I know that you're so amazing at explaining all the tools, by the way, that we are able to use in such layman's terms also as to why altcoins and why or why it'd be a good idea. I don't like saying should and need and can't and all those kinds of words. So I'm removing that from my vocabulary. So if you guys ever hear me correct myself, it's because of that. Or why would it be a good idea to purchase not just Bitcoin, but the altcoins that are also surrounding them?
So that's a very good question. Unlike any investor out there, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? No matter how juicy and colorful and amazing and gorgeous that basket looks, it can always go against you. All right. So I love to play roulette in the casinos. All right. And I have a thing that I secure my inside trades with my outside trades, right? I said trades, I mean bets. I secure my inside bets with my outside. I got a trade in the brain. I secure my inside bets with my outside bets. What that means is that if I put $100 on some numbers here and there, I got about $100 out here securing it in case those don't go the right way. Now, of course, these here pay a lot more, but these here also pay me. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, the important thing about buying altcoins is let's be honest, Bitcoin's at $30,000. Mm-hmm. Some people may say that it's really hard to buy Bitcoin right now because they're looking at a coin like Ethereum, which under $1,000, that's $700 that they can buy, and then hopefully it follows the same path that Bitcoin. It could do that. We have coins like Ripple under 25 cents right now because there's a little issue with the SEC trying to play games with us, but that'll all blow by. Okay, so we got a currency that's very, very powerful. And in case you don't know, XRP is being used by Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch is the banks that, Bank of America uses. It's being used by MoneyGram. It is the fastest payment processing center when it comes to network, when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Okay, so look at it like this. And I got this from Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos invests like this. He doesn't invest into anything he doesn't see making an impact in the future, changing the future, right? Mm-hmm. So whatever you look at something, whether it's a company, if it's stocks, whether if it's a currency, always look at one their purpose, right? What's the business plan they have? What's their goal? Why are you in business? Why are you a currency? What do you want to do? And see how that purpose will impact the world in 10 years. Mm-hmm. If there is large impact, you get on that right now. If there is no impact, you move on.
Guys,
it might really waste your time.
And you know what? That if you guys have never been in stocks, that's actually the same concept in stocks as well. I mean, it's across the board. If it has value, hold it so that it can continue to gain value at whatever price you purchased it at. If you see it's dropping in value, you can wait until it hits that bottom. Buy. They always say buy low, sell high. That concept is across the board. You know, you guys want to get things on sale, not when they're a high retail price, right? I had a lot of people ask a couple of questions. Some people say that in the next 12 months it'll be 100K, 150K. Somebody said 250,000. That it's going to be violent. I actually had someone saying they had a question: what platform to buy and trade Bitcoin as a beginner?
To buy, all right. So if you're looking to buy, and this is just if you're in the US, because I'm talking about US only, right? There is a platform, there is an exchange right now called Voyager. All right, Voyager, like you're going on a voyage, Voyager, right? And the reason why I love this platform to buy currency right now is because they're not charging any fees. Okay, so if you buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you're gonna get $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, they also pay you interest, right? So like your bank will pay you 0.00001% on your money, and then you got to wait 832 years to double that money at that interest rate. Okay, with Bitcoin, you could double it in maybe 10, 15, right? The interest alters, but it's always above 5%. Okay, can you imagine if your bank paid you back 5% every month, right?
Wow.
For the money you have in your account? The banks will be looked at a little bit different. Okay, so definitely look into buying some good altcoins. Okay, through those exchanges. Look at currencies like Ethereum is very good, right? Their blockchain is extremely secure, and it's very trusted. Okay, it is a blockchain that is used for smart contracts. And if you don't know what that is, go to Google, type up smart contracts. There's a great like a little paragraph comes out that explains into detail what a smart contract is. Then it operates on the blockchain, which eliminates middleman, which eliminates expenses overall. So a lot of business, a lot of companies are going to jump on board to do this. Okay, Ripple, same thing. They are a fast, reliable, and cheap, affordable way to make payments across the globe. Okay, and the reason why they're so trusted is because of the speed of their network. Okay, now let me break it down as to why it's so important. Why is Bank of America using Ripple and not Bitcoin and not Ethereum? I'll tell you why. Let's look at companies like Visa. Okay, Visa can process anywhere between 4,000 to 6,000 transactions every single second. That's extremely fast. Okay, Bitcoin can only do 4 to 6 a second. You see a big issue here, right? It's a massive issue. Now, based on their network, and I'm gonna get technical, it's only about a 32 megabyte size block to fit into that whole blockchain. So it's a little bit slow, okay? But it's trusted. It's very efficient because it is, you can't hack it. It creates a blockchain, all right? And it can't be changed, altered, and it's open to the public. Ripple can do 1,500 transactions per second. It's not as fast as Visa, and it's not as expensive as Visa either. It's cheaper. So banks will lean towards it, use it to make payments. You guys know these guys send money across the globe every single day, hundreds of times a day, and they're saving a lot of money by not using the regular wire transfers. They use Ripple. Wow. Okay, so if you see, do you guys see that change in the world? Of course, guess what? Invest in it.
Yeah.
All right? Invest in it. There's a companies like XLM, or Stellar Lumens. They do the same exact thing, kind of like the cousin of Ripple. Buy into those currencies. All right. I spoke about a currency a few weeks back called Celsius. Celsius is a very good currency. When I told you guys, wait, say that again. You bought some? When I told you guys to buy Celsius, all right. Okay, Celsius was that. Right,
he said it best. Matt says, I buy Bitcoin when Jeff tells me to. Just so you guys understand, we do have a platform where Jeff actually educates live several times a week. Okay. He also offers his trade ideas along with that. Okay. He's part of our platform and the education platform. And he does things like this where he gets on calls and he educates the masses. So I just want to let you guys know everything that you're getting right now. All of this is included in a platform that we offer, an educational platform for Forex. And if you want any of that education, go ahead and touch back with me. If you're on my side, touch back with Jeff. If you're on his side, okay, as far as who we know. And I had a lot of people also on Instagram asking about that. So yeah, just let us know. We have some really great movement up here, and you guys see me going back and forth. It's not because I'm distracted. I'm actually managing 3 platforms at the same time. So I hate doing it. It's so much fun to do, though. I'm like,
it is. Hold up, I got to talk about this. I got to talk about this for a minute. All right. If you go and look through your Instagram comments right here, you're gonna see a comment by a fellow named Ivan Paychecks. All right. He said, "Buy all the time." Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little story about Ivan. And Ivan, if you're here, I love you, bro. I known Ivan since 2012.
I was gonna say,
and so I known him for a long time. You know, we're cool. We're cool like that. We both worked out in New York with a previous company. He actually reached out to me a couple of years, a long time ago, about an opportunity like this, and I told him no. And then the next year, he was a 7-figure earner. All right, he was actually the first person I know to buy real estate with Bitcoin. Like, he bought his condo with Bitcoin. So it's crazy he even put that out there, because he tells you like I tell you, right? I know that Veronica said, wait for the pullback and buy, but I have an even better strategy, guys. You buy now, and then you buy again at the pullback, because if you buy at the pullback, now you are twice in profit,
right?
Instead of just one time. Okay, so what you do is that I always say this: when price is high, what do? You buy. When prices dips, what do? You buy some more. If price drops below that, you buy some more, because Bitcoin, understand the power of Bitcoin, right? Companies like Grayscale have invested over $16 billion, okay, into this market. And they continue to put money into this market every single day. Grayscale is one of the largest digital management companies in the world, asset-wise. And they are buying Bitcoin. Companies like PayPal, companies like Square Cash, BlackRock, the largest investment company in the world, manages $7.4 trillion. Trillion dollars, right? That's larger than the entire travel industry. Okay? And larger than the entire Forex industry daily. And they're looking to buy a quarter of $1 trillion in Bitcoin. They would single-handedly push the market cap of Bitcoin into the $1 trillion cap. In case you guys also don't know, Bitcoin is by definition the largest bank in the world.
By definition.
By definition, right? By market cap. Not like they have a building and they're bigger than Chase. Chase is the biggest bank at 350 billion. Bitcoin right now is at $570 billion. Guess what? They also beat what's this guy's name? Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, the largest listed company in the world, where a share of their company is worth almost about $250,000. They also beat that company just on I think it was the 30th in market cap size.
Wow.
And here's some more news. In case you guys don't know, there are how many? I want to see if anybody knows this. All right, I'm asking Instagram, put on Facebook. How many world currencies are there right now? How many world currencies? All right, let's see if somebody knows. Take a guess. Throw a dart. Do something. I want to see.
I want everyone to know. I want to test everybody's knowledge. So I'm glad that you're putting that out there. How many world currencies are there? Anybody take a wild guess? You want to give some to the people if anybody who wins? Because that's a tough one. I'm not gonna lie.
Take a dart. Take a shot.
Take a shot in the dark. Take a shot in the dark, guys. All right.
Somebody said 187, 32, 170.
1,000. I guess it's like who comes closer kind of thing. I don't know is not an answer.
60. Oh, look, somebody got it. 180.
Oh, wait, who said 180 first?
Instagram. Barbara K.
Barbara K. All right, we'll go ahead and pin her real quick just so I can have her and screenshot her.
180 currencies in the world.
I think they might have
Bitcoin.
looked it up.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I spoke about it before in one of my
Yeah,
classes
I
a
was
few
gonna say
times, so maybe they picked it
that's
up.
where I heard it.
But on top of that 180 currencies, Bitcoin stands at number 20 right now.
Mm.
And it's not even a country. It's number 20. So the fact that Bitcoin has this much popularity behind it, for those of you that said in the next 12 months Bitcoin will be $100,000, you are not wrong.
Not wrong. Exactly.
You're not wrong. And as a matter of fact, you could be shortchanging it. We could Citibank analysts, right? The guys that go and trade Citibank's money in the markets are saying that we could see $350,000 for one Bitcoin by the end of 2021. I hope I'm wrong and I hope they're right because their number's a lot better than mine. Right? I'm saying 100 and 150. They're saying 350. I'm like, we'll take yours.
Wow. Everyone's going crazy right now, and I'm loving it. It's hilarious. Someone said someone's Google food is on point. Oh, BTC is a beast. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, $1 trillion. I had someone ask us a little bit earlier. This question came from Cassie Lynn. She asked about what are your thoughts on Bitcoin miners? So I'm assuming what she's asking is the people who have companies that mine and pay off interest for those things. So I don't know if she's talking about specific miners because they are hardware miners, right? There's actually people who do this, and that's how it pretty much just started. You know, everyone having like their own mining system there, and not started that way, but you know, as far as continued. But what are your thoughts on that? I think you have a volume up on something that's up here and it's feeding back.
Hold on. I think I smacked my mic by accident. Hold on. Can you hear me? I did. You hear me good?
Yeah,
We're good, right? All right, good. All right, so I personally don't do a lot of Bitcoin mining. If you really want to become profitable in Bitcoin mining, you have to have a farm. Literally, you got to have a farm of containers and a warehouse that has multiple mining computers mining at the same time, because the payouts are just Satoshi tokens, right? And they're worth pennies. They're worth pennies. And you can also put your money into a management company that mines. They have the equipment and you pay them. Of course, they take a percentage and you get a return. But in reality, it's only profitable, like largely, if you're going to put a large amount of money down to invest with these companies, or if you're going to go out and start investing over $100,000 or more into these computers. And not just that, the electric bill is going to be crazy. In case you guys don't know, and I'm glad you brought that up. So I speak a lot about this in my class. All right. I speak about Venezuela. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Venezuela 2 years ago was on the brink of being taken over. That's how bad their economy was. They hyperinflated themselves to the point that their bolivars were worth nothing. You saw the money on the floor. People were burning it, crashing it. It was worth nothing. Okay. To the point that any country that's strong enough could just come in there, plant their flag and say, this is mine now. Okay. So Walmart in Venezuela was the one that started this little project. They came up with the plan of accepting Bitcoin as form of payment for whatever you bought at their store in Venezuela. It ended up being extremely successful, and it started being adopted by the entire government and the entire retail stores, and people were making finance now, right? Their currency was transforming into Bitcoin, to the point that this year last year, 2020, Venezuela actually did two things that were huge, right? One, they actually allowed and legalized Bitcoin mining. So they actually allowed it. They legalized it. And number two, they still don't have the capital to, I guess, fund their government. So the military in Venezuela has invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into buying containers that are already set, right, with all the mining rigs and all the mining power. And that's how they're funding the military projects,
Mm-hmm.
right? Weaponry, air conditioning bills, right? Training camps, getting the soldiers paid, being trained, right? Locations, bases, all of that costs money. It's being funded fully by Bitcoin mining. And who's mining them? The very own military in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you mentioned Venezuela, and there's other countries and other parts of the world that their banking system is completely trashed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the people who run the company, not the company, well, they run the country as a company, you know, and they let go of what they consider employees, and then that's the people who are go into poverty because the people who are at the top, they're making the most money, but they're not helping their community by doing it, right? So
Exactly.
so an example of that is Africa in general, you know, in countries within Africa's continent, such as Nigeria and others. I know you know, you met my friend a couple of weeks ago, my friend D, the BTC King.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
talked.
yeah, yeah.
He's actually in Africa now. He gives a lot of money into the community that he lives in, right? I'm not sure the name of it, so I don't want to say it here, but definitely an African community. And he talks about how crazy it is, you know, and Mo talked about this as well. Mo Dia, I can never pronounce Modi. Okay, Mo.
Modi.
I know I don't know how to pronounce his name, and he's probably going to correct me later on. But yeah, he mentions that as well. And so, seeing what crypto has done, seeing what it can do, and seeing the possibilities, give like give like an insight on what you think somebody can adopt, and not just us here in the US, because we already know we have access to so much, but other parts of the world, how can they utilize crypto to essentially, you know, become more, not financially free, but more financially stable?
Right.
Because I
You
know a
know
lot
what's
of people.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too? Last year there was a huge revolution in Nigeria. Because of the what's it called? The SARS, right? The
Hmm.
whole SARS movement they had over there. And they were asking for donations to help the people, you know, help the economy. And they received over 300 million US dollars, and it was all in Bitcoin from
Wow.
unanimous donors from all around the globe.
Wow.
Okay. So for countries outside the US, okay, you guys can utilize this to make money,
Hmm.
literally make money. I'm gonna give you guys a little story. I'm not gonna give you his name, but just last week I started working with a guy that lives in Indonesia. He is a graphic designer, right? He does social media management, all of that stuff. He's doing it for me, right? And I'm paying him in Bitcoin for doing that for me. He understands the power, right? Because he tells me that the economy in his country where he is not that well. He got laid off. He just graduated high school, as a matter of fact. He's 19 years old, but he is great at what he does. Okay. And I'm paying him in Bitcoin. All right.
Mm.
And if you, I mean, he'll do a graphic design, maybe charge like $15 for it. I'll send them in Bitcoin. And that's a big, big impact for someone that lives in those countries where the money is not worth that much, right? So if you guys are outside of the US, leverage that, right? Understand what your skill set is and look for ways to get paid in cryptocurrency. All
Yeah.
right. Look for ways to get paid in crypto. Because at the end of the day, you're getting paid in an asset that is increasing in value. What if your employee paid you in gold? If he
Someone just
offered
asked
you,
that question. Actually, someone asked, well, it was, now I can put a third part to it. If what would one invest in more, is gold, currency, or otherwise? And so I'm glad you mentioned that. Gold is not movable. So
right,
I would answer that for that. You know, gold is not movable. It's a heavy asset. You can't really exchange it in any way. Can't use it to buy anything. Who would you turn in that gold into? It would just be meant for holding in case everything breaks down or it shuts down. You know, but even then it has no value. It's only the
right,
only value it has is what it's backed by, which is the dollar. Right.
the
So
dollar.
I had to answer that one.
But
Yeah.
no, but it's you know what, it's good that you brought that up because you know gold is a commodity.
Mhm.
All right, it's a commodity investment. It's not a currency.
Correct.
You can't go buy something. You can't go buy lunch with gold. Okay, it's very hard to chip off gold off your bricks and then know exactly how much you're giving. All right, I don't know. I don't have my notebook right now, but every currency has 5 characteristics, right? And one of those is that it has to be easily carried. And the second one is that it has to be easily divided. You can't easily divide gold, and you can't easily carry gold with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's not considered a currency. It's a commodity, right? It's like it's an insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
It's an insurance policy. But like gold, Bitcoin is finite. It's
Mm-hmm.
limited to a certain amount of Bitcoin. There's only so much gold in the entire world.
Yep.
All right. And a large portion of it is not accessible to humans yet because you die. It's too close to the core. Okay. So what if one day the news breaks out and says we can't find any more gold? We can't find any more. We know there's a lot down there. We can't get there yet. We're looking at another 50 years to get down there, right? But for now, whatever you have, keep it. What do you think would happen to the price of gold if those news broke out? Okay. The price of gold will skyrocket. I mean, you don't even know when it's going to stop. It would just keep going and keep going and keep going, right?
Skyrocketing a bit now.
Right. And then last year we had that happen because of the dollar coming down, gold increases in value, too much inflation happening. Gold by default goes up in value because it's going against the dollar.
Correct.
Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is capped at 21 million coins. That's it. I tell my students this. Let's do a nice number right here. It's now 7 billion. All right. Even though there's more, but let's say there's 7 billion people on Earth right now, and we have 21 million Bitcoins. If you divide all the Bitcoins amongst everybody in the world, everyone would get 0.003 Bitcoins, which right now is about $100 bucks, $120. Okay. So what you need to do is make sure that you have a little bit more than 0.003 Bitcoins right now. That's what you need to do.
I'm gonna buy more as soon as I can.
Okay.
No,
that's
every time
what you
I talk
need to do.
That's what I do.
Once you do that, move that number to the left and aim for 0.03. That's your next goal. It's about 800 and change dollars. Okay. That's how much you need. Because by having a little bit more than 0.03 already by default puts you on top of the population when it comes to crypto holdings. Bitcoin holding alone. If you hold 1 decimal over fully, it puts you in the top 5%.
Wow.
But what I'm telling you guys is this. I don't want you to aim for 0.03. I don't want you guys to aim for 0.003. I want you guys to aim for 2 Bitcoins. That's all you need. You need 2 Bitcoins. All right. If in 5 years Bitcoin goes to $500,000, you have $1 million by default, just by doing nothing, just by holding it. Okay. Not even compounding. You're not adding anything extra. You bought your 2. That's it. You're sitting out. You're waiting 5 years. Okay. But what if you bought more as you kept accumulating? You're adding interest to your compound. No, correction. You're adding compound to your interest, right? You're keeping it growing, keep growing, and keep growing. All right. Now, right now, I'm going to give you guys a big wake-up call. Right now, over 88.9% of all Bitcoin has already been adopted. That leaves 11% to the entire world that does not have Bitcoin. 11%. By the year 2025, 99% of all Bitcoin will be adopted.
You think it'll be sooner than
So it could be sooner because at the speed that it's being bought faster than it's being mined, which is crazy. And it's because of institutions. All right. Everyone thought that 2017 was going to repeat itself because guess what happened in 2017 when we hit 19,000? We dropped. But in 2017, we didn't have institutions.
Right.
We didn't have monetary giants and governments buying Bitcoin. Now we do. So it was without a doubt that we were going to blow past 20K and continue to go up. Guys, we hit 20,000 on December 16th. It is literally 16 days after that. And we are almost $10,000 above that price. What investment do you know that you could buy into and in 16 days have $10,000 back into your pocket?
Yep.
Very rare investments. Maybe less than 1% will do that for you. Okay. So that's the importance of this Bitcoin. The fact that it's finite, is limited. That's the big difference between Bitcoin and gold. What gives Bitcoin its power too is the fact that you can use it as a currency. So I'm gonna tell you guys a little sneak peek into 2021. All right, a little sneak peek. I'm going to be teaching a lot something called the crypto lifestyle in 2021. What does that mean? Almost everything that I buy with Bitcoin. Everything. Jewelry, car notes, cell phone bill. I'm going to Vegas next week. Everything paid in Bitcoin. The whole thing. The car rental, the flight. If I get drinks on a plane, it's going to be paid in Bitcoin. Everything will be paid in Bitcoin. Okay? Because the more you use this currency, the faster it's mined, the faster it's adopted, and the faster it becomes known as a world currency. Okay, that's what gives it its power. Don't just hold on to it and not use it. Now, I'm not saying go waste your whole Bitcoin and forget about it. No,
Right.
because what I do is this. The minute I use it, I go buy some more right after to refill that gap. It's a way for you to change your dollars into an asset that increases in value that you use to buy things. And guess what? The companies you use to buy the things with pays you interest. They give you cashback rewards. So that's what I'm going to be focusing heavy on next year, being able to adopt this faster. And by 2032, we could be seeing Bitcoin at 99.99% adoption. So what I'm telling you guys this is, don't be like the entrepreneur that waits and then invest. No, you invest and then you wait and then you invest some more and then you wait again and you invest some more. It's always how you start. Because if you wait, then invest, you always get at the wrong time. But if you invest and then you wait, now you know where you got in and you know where you got to get in again.
Yeah. And also for those that I remember, a lot of people actually purchased Bitcoin at its high back in 2017 or 2018, right? And understand, you know, some people sold their houses to buy this. They could have held.
They did.
No, some people sold, Jeff. Unfortunately, some people sold, right? So they bought it like, you know, 2 or 3 coins at the 19 grand, for example. They could have held and gotten their investment back and almost doubled it at this point, right? So guys, the investments are not meant to just buy and sell at the same moment. They're meant to hold. Most investments. Let me change that, because there's some that you just buy for short term and then you sell depending on stocks and things like that. Crypto's not one of them. Crypto's
Hold
one
up.
of them.
Let me just say something really quick, because I saw this earlier. I gotta say this. Uncle Sam just gave you a free $600.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If you got that money, guess what you're doing with it? Don't go buy the PlayStation 5. Don't go buy new rims for your car. Go buy Bitcoin. $600 worth of Bitcoin is a lot of money to have by the end of 5 years.
Yep. Jeff, I think we have to do a part 2 to this, because I think
we might have
we're gonna have to, maybe in like another 4 weeks, or when crypto or when Bitcoin goes and hits that 40,000, which will probably be sooner than later, honestly. What's one thing, and we're gonna just wrap it up with this, because I know we're literally running an hour and a half in. You're probably the longest guest that I've had, running at 90 minutes plus at this point.
It feels so short. I
feel
like I could go all day. Yeah, like it
feels like we just started just like a second ago. I appreciate your time for that. But what is one thing, and a lot of you guys will know more about this as the year progresses, and I like to give tidbits and things like that. What is one thing that you feel that, and I know what you're gonna say, but I want you to answer this anyway. What's one thing, one piece of advice that you can offer someone for them to be able to tap into their superhuman self today, like what they can do right now?
What they can do right now?
That's one
thing. I love that. All right, so if you want to tap into your greater self or your superhuman self, as Veronica says, this is simple. You gotta start. You got to start. You have to take action. Okay. A lot of people, I know personally. All right. They talk all they want to do, and they even go as far as writing their goals down on paper.
Mhm.
But they never take that first step, and is that first step is scary. I'll be honest with you, it's scary because you're stepping into the unknown. You're stepping into a world that you have no idea how you're gonna walk out of it. But let me tell you the best part: you're not supposed to walk out of it. If you enter there, you're staying there, period, until the day that you die. It's very hard for you to see, right? Individual. I'm gonna tell you guys one of my biggest motivations when I was younger. When I was about 19, 20 years old, I met a lot of people. They were 23, 24. They were already making 7, 8 figures. All right.
Mhm.
Whether it was marketing, whether it was a cleaning business, like a car cleaning business, or whether it was through some kind of investment, right? And when I saw these people, my mind automatically did, like, when it went from here to here, right? It expanded. You guys seen that meme, that gif on your phones of the guy going like, that was me. All right. That was me. So once my mind went to this, it never goes back to this.
Yeah.
It stays here forever.
Mhm.
Your mind is not is not like an accordion that expands and then comes right back. No, it keeps growing and it keeps growing and it keeps growing. So if you don't take action, your mind will always stay right here and you will never become exposed to the possibilities of your brain growing. On top of that, once you start, your mind starts to expand and expand. Now you start seeing people that are your age, even younger than you, right? Making more money than you, having more freedom, traveling. You ever been on someone's page and be like, how do you do all this thing all the time? Right?
Mhm.
How? Ask them. Ask them. They'll tell you.
It
They're
will.
free. All right. So you expand, expand, expand. Your mind is expanding, right? You're doing your things, but guess what? If you ever decide to quit, now you are a quitter with a mindset like this, which means that you have to pretend that you're okay going back to the normal world while you know in your heart that you could be doing so much better because someone your age, with your background, with your history, just like you, is doing it, but you're not.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's actually a 2-pointer. Start and don't quit. Because the day you quit, all you do is just prepare to start over at a later time.
Mhm.
You're literally waiting to invest.
You're stopping yourself. You're stopping
You're stopping
yourself.
yourself. You're stopping yourself.
When eventually you're gonna have to go through it anyways. And I'm glad that you use that analogy about like how your mind expands and everything like that. We don't unlearn what we learn, guys. When we get a piece of information, it doesn't just go away. It sits in our mind and it'll rest in there for like almost like the little voice in there, just like, hello, you see, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I still know that I'm here. When are we gonna open this door? Hey, I'm waiting for you, but just so that you know, I'm still here. I'm gonna keep reminding you about what you know. And our minds are beautiful like that, and our conscious is like that. Our intuition speaks loud. Sometimes it gets so loud that it comes out in distortions in our life. Because again, if we ignore our heart and we ignore what we actually know is like in the depths of our soul to honor and like pay attention to and become aware of, it becomes a distortion in our world, right? Because it's imbalanced, right? We can only go by what we feel. And if we feel that there's something we're not addressing, it's going to get louder in some way, shape, or form, manifest in our life. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that. And that's a beautiful way to end this live stream, this conversation. Jeff, it was such a pleasure speaking with you. And I know you guys love this. If you guys caught some value off of this, you learned something, you resonated with something that we talked about, throw some fire emojis and hearts down below. Make sure to follow Mr. Jeffrey Rojas, aka Mr. Unemployable. That's exactly the way his name is on Instagram. And I know you guys, if you're seeing him here on Facebook, obviously you can go ahead and friend him. And just like he said, he gets to know each and every one of you. Is there anything you wanted to share before we close out, Jeff?
Yeah, guys, if you guys want to learn more as to cryptocurrency, I do a class every single week. It's called Holding with Mr. Unemployable. I do it every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. And I call it Crypto After Dark. All right. Everyone gets on that class and I just talk, right? It's a conversation. We go back and forth, right? I tell you how I feel. I get very emotional. I get very strong, right? And I'll tell you guys, the lifestyle of Bitcoin, right? Where we're gonna go, what you need to be doing, right? Now for next week, because I will be traveling, I'm going to be hosting that series live from Las Vegas. So it will be on Thursday night, not Tuesday. All
Oh,
right,
beautiful.
because I might bring on some really interesting guests on that call. All right, so
I won't be there till
make sure you
Saturday.
got. Oh, well, we have to do a part 2 then.
I'll tune in though,
But
definitely.
of course, but plug into that, invest in Bitcoin. Don't wait to invest and wait. All right. And Veronica, again, it was an honor. Thank you for having me on this call. It was great. I don't even feel like it's an hour and 40. I feel like I've been here for like 5 minutes. I feel like I'm ready to start. I feel like the warm up
We're
is over now, guys. We're gonna start now.
Well, it would be cool to do a clubhouse chat,
Of
and do something
course.
like that. And I wanted to incorporate the whole family thing because the way that parents think is so different. I mean, no offense to anyone who doesn't have children yet, but it's just like being part of like this inclusive and exclusive group of people that just understand how to be able to balance life, along with taking the responsibility. So that's a whole nother talk. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad this. I hope you guys love this on New Year's Day 2021. We talked financial freedom, we talked mindset, we talked family, we talked heart and intuition and how to be able to become more superhuman just within your life. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. I will see you guys next Friday for another edition of our 2021 Fired Up Fridays exclusives. Again, thank you, Jeff, for being here. And I love you guys so much. I love you. I understand you. I see you. And I wish only the best for you every single day of my life. All right, everyone, take care.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Be safe.
We're going to go ahead and end here as well on the